Oh, Internet. Welcome to 2.5 Brains. This is our Survivor Season 44 Post-Mortem. Yes, the season is over, thankfully. And we're going to talk all about it. What went right, what went wrong. Break it all down for the final time before we put the season to bed and toss it into the back of the rearview mirror. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, Pavement Road Prod on Facebook. You can email the show directly, pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. Subscribe right then to the YouTube channel, and we'll go from there, obviously. I think I'm going back on Twitter. We'll see. I haven't decided yet, but if we do, we'll let you know what that is. But I'm Yo Grabba Gabba. Let's go ahead and bring in the co-host for the show for now. Let's bring in Jessica. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm fine. This is the last episode. You probably hear me. Fine.
Yeah, last episode regular. We have one more for the summer. I think we're gonna try to do. But we'll talk about that, and that maybe will be the last time we hear Jessica, at least on this show. Maybe the Amazing Race. We'll see. But an hour and a half, especially 3 hours on a Wednesday, is a lot to ask.
Yep, a lot to ask.
I mean, like I said, they're gonna do an hour and a half of just Survivor. It would still be a lot, but an hour and a half Survivor, then an hour and a half Amazing Race back to back is just. It's to quote the great Isaiah Johnston. It's a lot. It's a lot.
They know Americans watch a lot of TV, but I'm not sitting for 3 hours to watch TV every Wednesday.
For sure, yeah. So I don't think we'll be able to do it. Even if we do, we'll have to watch one, then I'll record or whatever, figure something out, and then we'll do the other one the next day or something. It's gonna be hard to do them both. It was gonna be hard to watch them both at the same time, but
yes,
we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and talk about the Survivor Season 44. Put this one to bed. It's been about 2 weeks. We usually try to do it like a week or so after, but I got busy. It was nice outside. We had a lot of stuff to do outside, and a lot to get done. Obviously, summer came a little early, and then it kind of disappeared. But obviously, anybody in New York like us, be safe out there with the way the clouds and the horrible and just air quality BS is right now.
Yeah, from all the ash in the air, we're kind of stuck inside, so might as well record.
Right? Yep. We have a lot to do outside, and so we can't really do it right now. So let's go ahead and record, and we'll just kind of make the most out of it. No better time than now, I guess, to do it. So, a little programming note. Like I said, this is the last one for season 44. I want to do one more show over the summer, perhaps a couple weeks from now, perhaps a month from now, perhaps whatever. Perhaps next week, I don't know. But we had an idea we were talking about doing before the season started, and this season didn't change that at all. In fact, maybe emphasize it even more. It's going to be called Survivor. Well, I'll talk about it a little more. I don't go into too much detail, but it's basically talking about where Survivor stands right now and how it can be improved. And I'm going to throw some ideas at Jessica, and she's going to, thumbs up or thumbs down them pretty hard and critique them and tell me why my ideas all suck. So it's going to be fun for her. I'll get crapped on a little bit, and it'll be a good experience it should be a fun listening experience for the audience. But that's coming up here soon. Then that'll probably be Jessica's last show for Survivor going forward. We'll see. I don't know. I'm debating if I want to cover next season. I've been kicking around for a couple seasons now whether I want to keep covering the show or just watching it as a fan again. But we'll see, because it's hard to do either at this point. We'll talk all about it. So that being said, let's go ahead and dive on in here. Let's go ahead and talk about the season 44 Post-Mortem, and we'll start with the recap of the finale. So, you remember the finale, what happened? It's been a couple weeks. I know you tried to block it out, but...
I remember who won, I remember the final four, how it was decided for fire making and all that,
yeah.
Yes, but before that,
yeah,
a little bit hazier.
Yeah, hazy. Good one. So, final five, obviously, was it... Who won the final five immunity? Was it Carson?
Yeah.
Carson won the final five immunity, picked Jam to go with him for the reward, because it was immunity and reward. They voted out Lauren. There was an idol hidden. They showed people looking for it, and for the first time in a long time, an idol was hidden. On the end of the game, and nobody found it. So nobody had that idol to play, which the producers want them found because they liked what it does to the game. But these players were kind of idiotic and boneheaded, and they were bad at challenges for the most part. and couldn't find idols. So they found the idols in the bird cage, but that was it. So
Yeah.
because it was right there, you have to actually look for it. So
I mean, they found the key for it though.
I guess. But yeah, it was it is what it is. So nobody found the idol. Went to tribal council, voted out Lauren, quick and easy. And the next one was the Final Four challenge. It was the one where that Romeo won, on Marianne's season.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, that's somebody who sucked win this challenge. And not sure enough, but kind of sure enough. Heidi pulled off the improbable win. And she wins the immunity, the Final Four. And so she gets to decide who's going to fire, who's going to the end. And what happened?
So she wrestled with the idea of putting herself into fire, who she wanted to go up against. She knew Carolyn was good at fire and Jam Jam was good at fire. I don't know if she knew that Carson wasn't good at fire. I think she assumed they were all good. She took Carolyn and Jam Jam to the end and elected herself to make fire against Carson.
Yeah. And so Jam Jam was showing Carson how to make fire, trying to teach him a little bit. And he wasn't very good. He was definitely the worst of the four. But
Heidi was good too at it.
Heidi was good at it too. Yep. So she put herself in there, and she made this smart strategic decision to A, take out a threat to go head to head, and B, that threat also happens to suck at fire. So it was a high reward, still kind of high risk, but not as high risk as it would have been if she went against a Jam Jam or went against someone who's a Gabler from last season, for example. Right? She put herself against Gabler in the fire last season, right? And that would have been a bigger challenge, perhaps.
Right.
But she went against a person who wasn't good at fire and who was a big threat. So you take out a big threat, and the odds of them beating you aren't very good. So it was a huge decision, and
she won.
And it paid off.
Fire.
Yeah, she won fire, and it paid off. So congratulations to her. She goes to the final three, and she goes to the final three with Carolyn and Jam Jam. Cool. So then the final three, we had the final tribal council, and we were looking at each other, but man, I think Carolyn can pull off. Jam Jam's likable. Heidi had a huge move. That's gonna definitely get some respect. And not only did she win, she also broke Gabler's record from the episode before.
Yep.
So
Season before.
Yeah, season before, right? So, quickest fire of all time, beating out Gabler, who's also the quickest fire of all time. So I feel like Fiji's really dry or something, and there's no wind, because they're all making fires very quick now.
Plus, we're only there for half the time, so they're not,
Right. That's true too.
Season or whatever.
It's true. Yeah, you're right. And it might be. There hasn't been since they started doing this, there hasn't been a really rainy season. Like even season 40 was the most rainy season I've seen in a while. And it wasn't even that bad.
They had the one episode where it was raining.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Right. The one I think when was it? Maybe Wendell went out. Maybe.
No, I just mean this season.
Oh, this season. Yeah.
Because I remember it was slippery and everything.
True.
And all that, but that was the one where they were trying to get the race.
Right. Yep. I remember that. Yeah. So it wasn't. It hasn't been that rainy. Usually, it used to be. I think the odd seasons were the really bad weather seasons. The even seasons were not bad, but in this case, I feel like they've kind of moved their schedule around since it's shorter. That they haven't really hit the rainy season, which, again, shorter season they get less food, but shorter season, worse players, not as bad of elements, more twists, more randomness, equals not as good of a show. But I digress. We'll talk about it a little more as we go on. So the votes come down, and I was a little bit surprised. Carolyn definitely underwhelmed the final tribal, I would say. I'd say she didn't really own her game. She was kind of all over the place. If I'm her, obviously, and again, it's hard to know what the jury wants. Hard to, especially when you're tired and been out there for a long time, whatever. It's hard to kind of have that. I mean, if you remember Mike from Marianne's season, he went into it. He had a good shot to win. And I didn't think he was great. I didn't think he was going to do well. But if he would have owned his game, he had a good shot. I knew he wasn't going to own his game. I knew he was going to do a terrible job owning his game. And that's why he didn't win the final tribal. That's why he lost. And Carolyn, in a different way, had a bad tribal. She didn't, she was talking about how, emotions were her strength and also her weakness and everything like that. But they didn't really air much of what she said at final tribal. And everything she said was kind of just like, very run-of-the-mill, very average. Didn't come out, wasn't very charismatic, wasn't very fun or funny or anything like that. It was just kind of talking about her game in a very monotonous, not very, didn't really blow anybody away, and didn't get any votes, which I was surprised she didn't get any. But every season I feel like, oh, everybody has a case. Everybody has a case for this couple votes, and then I realized that. Then I remember that it's groupthink, and they already decide who won before the final trial. They say, well, our votes are open. We can be persuaded, which is not true. There's no way that's true. And we'll talk about that when we do our what can we fix about Survivor. We'll talk about that a little bit, but I think they decide who's getting first, who's getting second, and they decide who's voting for whom, because Danny voted for Heidi. He was aligned with Heidi the whole time. He liked Heidi. He also liked Jam Jam a lot too, and I think he probably wanted to vote for Jam Jam, but I think they wanted to make sure that Heidi got second, so Danny threw a vote on Heidi because he liked her too, and he justified throwing a vote on Heidi because she had the big last tribal, at least last final four tribal, and everybody else voted for Jam Jam in a 7-1-0 final vote. Mm-hmm. And then they went right into the recap and the reunion, quote unquote, which is awful now. It's not even worth watching. Jeff always spins everything Jeff spins everything on the show that they do as, oh, this is better than it was before. And we're like, no, it's not. You know it's not. You're just saying that it is because you're a show for the company. You're a company man. But you know it's not better. We get that raw emotion when they first get out of the island. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about that. Put that shit of how they felt. Put those interviews on Paramount Plus or CBS.com, where we can watch those. We want to watch them. I want to see the reunion of people when they had time to sit back and reflect, and then talk about it. Because you can interview them immediately when it's going on, and just put that on for people who want it. But the more interesting thing is when they get back, how are they feeling?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we went into that. They popped a bunch of champagne. Everybody got drunk and we're stupid. And they talk about next season and yada, yada, yada.
And the romance on the show and all that fun stuff.
I said, is there a showmance? Oh, well, yeah.
No. They said, is there a couple? Are you guys a couple now?
Well,
yeah,
duh.
They're a couple.
Well, duh.
Yeah.
Duh. Obviously, the last major showmance we had was Figtails on Adam's season. And that did not work out at all because Taylor had a pregnant girlfriend at home when he was hooking up with Figgy. So, yeah. So that one didn't work out too well. Also, I said, they used to get appearance fees. I guess CBS saving money for paying them, for not having to pay them to go to the finale and pay for the finale and pay for the people to go to the finale. But also, if you're the pre-merge, you don't even get to, you could have been a huge character pre-merge. Mm-hmm. You're not even in the finale. You don't even get to go to the reunion. Right. And I get it. They don't do it with COVID, but COVID's done. It's been done. The fact you could film this show with people this close to each other on an island for 3 weeks, 4 weeks basically, COVID's done. Yep. Do rapid tests if you want people to do rapid tests to go to the finale, fine. But bring back the actual finale the way it was, because it's bad this way now. I can keep ripping on the show. I can keep going, but let's just leave it at that. We'll say all the other things they should do differently for another show. Let's go ahead and do what we like to do here. Talk about the winner and how does the winner stack up against other winners. What do you think, Jessica? Jam Jam, Arocho, Yamil Arocho is his name. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about him winning?
Well, I can deal with him probably more than some of the more recent winners, but
yeah,
still not my favorite. Not who I was wanting to win, but I can deal with it. I didn't mind Gabler, but I know you didn't, really like Gabler as a winner, but it's not as it used to be, and I haven't even watched that long, but it's different now.
I would say of the last, let's say, 7 seasons, I'd say we've had 2 good winners.
Who would be?
Nick and Tony.
You know me about the returning season. It's
Yeah, Tony's a damn legend, though.
I mean, they've won already,
Yeah.
so they're just winning again. It doesn't really.
Yeah.
Mm,
20's an amazing winner. He's not as likable as some people. Wasn't likable his first season, but he's one of the best players of all time, obviously, and I like Nick a lot too. But other than that, I would say there really hasn't. I mean, if you look at we could say of the last 4 seasons, I could say it's the winner in order. Worst was Erica.
Yeah.
Then. It's so hard to say.
You'd probably do Gabler and then Marianne and then Jam Jam.
Jam Jam's the best.
I guess that would be my guess from you.
I would say Marianne was the best.
No.
And then, because she actually played the game, she took a long time to get going. She waited 21 days to play, and then played the finals 5 and did really well. Took out other threats and everything like that. So I would say maybe it was Erica by a lot last. Gabler maybe second, maybe Jam Jam. Either way, and then Marianne, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, those are all still very low winners. Like Wendell was better, Ben was better. I'm not huge fans of them. I mean, go back further. Really, I mean, I can't think of many worse winners than the last 4. Like if you put the last 4 against anybody else, Chris Underwood's probably worse, maybe, but he's played almost the same number of days because they played 26 days. He played 12, right?
Right.
And he got to schmooze the jury and everything like that, but which makes his win not as good. But he had an amazing last 4 days, whatever the hell it was.
Mm-mm.
I mean, but and then you have winners like Fabio, who was awful. You have winners like, I mean, beyond that, it's hard to even put it. I mean, Amber and Danny Boatwright weren't great. Vesepia wasn't great. It's really stretching to see who else is worse, than the most recent ones. I mean, jeez. Bob Crowley wasn't good. I don't know. That's about it. And it's really sad that we've had, I mean, the last 4 winners, you probably put them in the bottom 10 of all time. All 44 seasons. There's probably, the last 4 winners are probably in the bottom 10. That's really not good. How Jam Jam stack up? Here's the thing. Survivor's different. Jeff said, start over, get rid of the first 4 and keep the last, whatever. New era. Which is definitely a new era. But it's a new era that's not as good. It's like let's reboot the series, and let's take away everything that was good and keep just the crappy stuff. New casting, which is terrible, and honestly, since season 37, it's been new casting, or season 38, whatever. It's all new casting, and it hasn't been good. They have quote unquote super fans who have never seen an episode of the show. They have the same super fans as freaking whatever. I don't remember what it was. The one fans were favorites too when all the fans were recruits who had never seen the show, quote unquote fans, right? Basically, Survivor now is just get to the end and be popular. Doesn't matter how you played. You could have done 0 things. You could have done literally 0 things. But Jam Jam, to his defense, he was funny. He was self-deprecating. He was likable. He was emotional and bitchy. But he had fun. He didn't take himself too seriously. So I guess that's as good of a reason, I guess, as anybody else. But the players who play the game get knocked out for the end. Because the players who don't play the game, the reason 20 season was good is because you got down to the final, 6, 7, and there was like 4 people who had a shot to win. The reason next season was good, the final 8, there was 5 people who could win. Or 6 who could win. And that was huge. Because there were more people who had a shot to win and longer in the game. The big threats have been taking each other. I mean, look at last 43, right? You had Jesse who had a great shot to win. You had Carla who had a good shot to win. You had Cody who got shot to win. They taken out one by one. They were left with 3 losers.
Yep.
Right? 42, same thing. You had Omer, you had Lindsay. And then Jonathan even had a shot to win. And one boom, boom, boom. It's a flaw in the game, for sure. And, Russell Hand says the game is flawed because the jury doesn't pick the best winner because, the jury's bitter and they're mad, whatever. I don't think that's true. I think you can piss off the jury and make them mad. But what the jury votes for now is not what they should vote for. And if they're super fans of the game, if they really appreciate the game, they really knew the game well, they would vote for the person who played the best game. And not the person who made them feel the best. It's society now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Survivor's never been a bigger microcosm of society than it is now. It's not the person who's smart, not the person who's the best, not the person who's most talented or the best educator, and like that. It's the person who makes you feel good. How do I feel about this? Let's unpack that. Ugh. Get out of here.
Men don't like feelings.
I'm just saying. I mean, even with feelings, think logically on anything. But again, Jam Jam was likable. He voted out a few people who targeted him, but again, he did it out of emotion. He didn't do it out of strategy. And you can say it was strategy, but it wasn't because he didn't have a reason. He could have worked with them if he wasn't being emotional about it.
Right.
And the pendulum back and forth was Carson's idea, not Jam Jam. Jam Jam went along with it.
Right.
If it wasn't for Carson, they wouldn't have had the relationships to build on the other side, and they wouldn't have had the relationships to build on the other side, and they wouldn't have had the idea to jump back and forth if it wasn't for Carson. Granted, Carson voted for Jam Jam, and he knew the game well, but again, there wasn't really anybody left. He was close to Jam Jam, so he voted for Jam Jam. I don't think it was the right decision, but again, that's one. How does everybody else like one thing they used to do on Celebrity Apprentice? They used to have the person who picked the winner would interview all the people who were left. I think the jury should do that. I think the jury should have one-on-one interviews with everybody, and then they can make their own decision. And they should be quarantined. They should be isolated because they all just come up with the same idea. There's no way if you objectively look at all 3 of their games, all but one person came up with the same idea. No chance. You can't. You can survey Americans, and it says cancer bad, and you only get 90% who say yes, who say cancer's bad, or 80%. You can't get 10 people to agree on anything. So in fact, you got 8 people who agree on this, who's going to win the game, and whatever. It doesn't make any sense. All the votes are blind. All the votes are blowouts. They're not close. They said they changed the final travel format so that we have closer votes. So it wouldn't be a runaway, but it still is a runaway.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, about Jam Jam or anything else I mentioned? Because I'm just ranting at this point, obviously.
I mean, I'm surprised Franny didn't vote for Carolyn or anything like that.
All this women in feminism
the
stuff,
ones
right?
that were all about different things and all that. I was surprised about that.
2 women in the finals, only one got 1 vote. It was from a guy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's over. Thankfully, it's over. Yeah. And yeah,
I just after Erica won, and it's been downhill really since then. Kind of, I was like, to be a Survivor winner, you have to do something right. You have to. To be a winner of the game, you should have a badge of honor for being a winner. And then Erica won, and then Marianne, and then Gabler, and then Jam Jam. And I'm like, okay, never mind. Any loser can win Survivor. Any idiot can win Survivor at this point. Like, for real. Any idiot can win. You don't have to have any skill or talent to win. And for me, it's and now so I feel like it's just it lost its luster. The best player of the game the best player of the season hasn't won the game in a long time.
No.
And here and there, the best player of the season wins. But still.
Yeah.
And I guess winners have flaws and all that stuff, and they edit them differently to show them not making many mistakes with the winner. They don't show the winner taking a shit. Then I don't think they show the winner taking a shit. Because it's not good for your winner to do that, to show the winner doing that. You gotta show them in a better light. But like look at like the best players of each season. If you go through, you can go back to season 1. Rich was probably the best player that season. Season 1. Since then, a couple times best player of season 1. Todd in China. Jeremy in his season, he was best player of the season. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, even the players I really, really liked weren't the best player. And most of the time, the best player doesn't even get to the end, and that's fine. Then it's the best of who's left. And that's why, if they're a good winner, because the best of who's left, they were able to beat everybody else. But I mean, you've seen since 35. You've watched since Ben's season.
Mm-hmm.
And you watched from the beginning, from 36 on.
Yeah.
What do you think of current season, current winner?
I mean, I don't like it. I would get mad that all the good people are getting knocked out constantly. No one good was there, so. I mean, Lauren should have won the one season, not Tommy, all that stuff. Don't like the decisions people are making.
And granted, it's on them for not taking, it's on them for not taking the threats deeper in the game. They always get happy, but again, I think the level of gameplay is a lot higher on a returning player season, or cast more actual fans, because the level of gameplay has not been high. There's been 1 or 2 good players, and everybody else sucks, so they knock out the good players. Like, well, I'm not as good as them, so they're the only threat. Like, look at the season going from the final 10 on. Who was a threat? I mean, I thought Carolyn, but clearly not.
Yeah, I thought Carolyn.
Carson maybe was a threat to win.
Yeah.
Who else?
Maybe Lauren. I don't know. That's what they kept saying. I didn't really feel that.
I didn't think so either. Maybe Danny. Maybe Franny.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Franny, yeah.
Franny, yeah. Maybe Danny. Aside from that, who else? Nobody. It's awful. Not good.
Niche
Keat. So again, Jam, if you look at Modern Survivor, he's probably the second or third best winner of the last 4 seasons. Probably second. Maybe first. But that's not saying much.
Yeah.
So. Anyways, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Season as a whole.
So the season as a whole, we kind of talked about that a little bit. What did we like? What did we not like overall? Things we predicted right, things we predicted wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Our winner picks didn't go far, obviously. Your winner pick's coming back next season, though. Bruce is coming back next season.
Yeah.
Which is just stupid because I guess, yes, he got to play for like 5 minutes, but then they bring him back. He's technically a returning player.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything and no one got to know him.
Sure.
He didn't get past the beach, the initial beach, so like he's not.
I mean, he did, but not much. He was there for a day.
Yeah, well, yeah, but like that, no. Wasn't like barely conscious for that day. So.
I know. So, regardless, it's annoying. But so we got some things right, some things wrong. Some players we thought would be good, some players we didn't think would be good. I didn't have Jam winning, but he was, middle of the pack player. He had some great weeks and bad weeks.
I recall saying in the beginning of the season that Carolyn was not winning, and then by the end I was rooting for her.
Me too. Same, for sure. I was saying if she wins, I'm gonna be pissed, and I was rooting for her at the end. So, for sure.
I said Franny wasn't gonna win, and that happened, so I predicted that.
Yeah. But I think we both didn't think she was gonna be that good of a player. She was pretty good of a player overall. I thought Danny would be an idiot. He was not an idiot. He was good. He played a good game. Yeah. I thought Carson would be good. We both agreed on that. He was going to be good. He was good.
Brandon went further than I thought he would.
Brandon, yeah. He went about where he goes, athletes usually go right around the early merge. Didn't go as far as Danny did in his season, but again, about where you would have probably put him in.
Danny's a sore subject.
Yeah. No, I mean...
I know, not this Danny.
Danny McRae, yeah. From Erica's season, yeah.
Yes.
So again, the birdcage. What do you think of the birdcage? Did you like it or not like it?
I liked the birdcage.
It was different, right? It wasn't too bad. I wouldn't do it a ton more, maybe one more time if that, but
It's not their strong suit to just not do things again and again. So.
Well, yeah, no, for sure. They do it until you hate it, for sure. And they get a week, get a season or 2, and then you hate it. So yeah, for sure. Do you prefer that or the phrase? the AstroTurf. Go to AstroTurf now they've had a season without
Probably
it.
the birdcage.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't. The thing I do like is the losing your vote thing.
Yeah.
I want there to be a think twice before you take this.
Right.
Like or I said the thing they had where you have to make the hat or make the get everybody's beads they did at 43.
Mm-hmm.
That was okay, but again the lose your vote thing that people always end up getting their vote anyways. So like it doesn't. I like there to be some risk and some reward. Like if you're gonna have an idol hidden in the jungle, have it be not just an idol. Have it be like okay, there's a risk reward to taking the idol.
Yeah.
And some people just say screw it and they take it because they're dumb, and the producers tell them you should take it because it's good for the show. And they say okay, I'll make a good show and lose the game. Regardless. So some good, some not so good, but either way. Anything else that was new this season? Not really. The big thing was the birdcage.
No, they didn't do Knowledge is Power. They left some stuff off this season.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
They didn't do the last 2 seasons. They didn't do the Hourglass or the what was that? Sophie's Choice thing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the box.
Yeah,
I forgot what it was called. Yeah.
So again, some stuff is good. I have some ideas for the future, but we're gonna save that a little bit. The season as a whole, again, there were some episodes that got me excited, but for the most part, most episodes were pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It was there was some fine characters, some fun stuff, some decent gameplay here and there, but it was really if you you wouldn't have predicted that the Alliance of 3 would have made it all the way to the end, but also you kind of would have because they're the ones who are getting airtime really. And a lot of times in Survivor, this is the case with Denise's season in the Philippines. Tan Dang was the tribe who did not lose the entire. They had won every challenge from beginning of the show to the merge, and then they were so dysfunctional they turned on each other immediately, and like all the other tribes, when what was the purple this one? I remember there were. I don't say Tamil or whatever it is. Either way, people are yelling at their screen right now. I'm telling me I'm an idiot. But regardless, it's not vodka. What was it? Yeah, whatever. Who cares? The 3 purple stuck together, and they just got bounced back and forth. And instead of everybody else saying, "Oh, maybe let's work with the other side," and both them. Tika, thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe.
Just came to me.
Yes, exactly. Good. Instead of saying let's the green and yellow, let's work together, take out purple, take out Tika, they just let Tika stick around, and then eventually Tika took over and won the game.
Yeah.
So, a lot of things.
It was a ticking time bomb. If you will.
Smart. A lot of things were like that. A lot of things were like, wow, this would be really interesting if this happened. And they said, and they're like, it could happen, but of course it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it was very, there was some stuff that was interesting, some good case studies. We dig into it a little deeper. The Tika stuff was very interesting, how they stuck together and whatever. The little mini swap that was interesting. They swap one person from each tribe. That was interesting. The risking your vote, they didn't really do enough of that. There weren't really any advantages. It really played well. The extra vote stuff was kind of wasted. All that. So there was some interesting stuff, but overall it was a very predictable and run-of-the-mill season. And it wasn't. There was nothing that really made me jump on my seat and go, yes! Except for you when Franny got put out.
Yeah, I was pretty excited.
Other than that, nothing really.
Nah.
Right?
Nope.
Anything else?
No.
What's next? 2 more things, right?
Who will or should return?
Yeah. So who will or should return? Well, let's talk about that next. Now they've said the next returning. I have a feeling 46 could be a returning player season. They've kind of talked about 45 being a new player season. But let's just for the heck of it, they're saying that they're not bringing back anybody from pre 40. Pre 40. So 41 and on is the only one they're bringing people back from. Going for which I think is awful. I'd love to see players in the late 30s play again. Several of them. I'd like to see play again. Christian and Gabby and Janet and Elaine and all those people from the Lauren Beck, Devins.
Right.
But they said they're not doing that, so whatever. It's just another. I don't know why. After they just like you're dead to us. I don't know. But so let's just say hypothetically, 46 of the returning player season. Let's say they bring back 4 people from 45. Okay. So it means they bring back probably 4 people from the remaining 4 seasons, 41 on. Let's start with this season. Who do you think they will bring back? Who would you like to see come back? You can do it however you want to do it.
Carolyn,
Yeah.
possibly.
Okay.
Maybe Brandon. I don't know.
Unless they bring Danny back.
Yeah, Danny. Franny, probably.
I'm saying Danny from 41 because that Danny McCrae, you're not going to bring back him and Brandon. It's one or the other.
Right. Okay.
And that Danny was on the challenge and everything, so he could theoretically be one to bring back. But all right, so Franny, Danny, maybe Carson.
Yeah, Carson.
And
Heidi. Lauren, maybe.
Carson. Carolyn,
yeah.
Anybody pre-merge? I don't remember the pre-merge.
Not that I can really think of.
I think maybe Matt.
Oh, yeah,
Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah.
Not Matt.
Yeah, Matthew. Anybody else? I can't really remember the pre-merge. Just kind of blocked out in my mind.
Yeah, I don't really remember anybody. That should come back from them.
Yeah, Maddie, Sarah, pre-merge. Trying to think who else. Obviously Bruce is already coming back. Yeah. Pretty much it.
Yeah.
A forgettable pre-merge for sure. I said it was a very forgettable season. You asked me a couple years from now. Hey, remember 44? I'm gonna say.
That's a lie. You'll remember it.
I don't at all. Like a lot of even like, when I was in high school, I could have recited the boot order the entire season, entire series. Everybody's been on the show and everybody went out which order. Now, if I remember who the final 5 was for each season, that's a lot. Of the more recent seasons, even beyond that, maybe beyond that, it's either nostalgia or it's lost in the middle. But I have a hard time remembering a lot of them because they just were that memorable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much right. I mean, if you look at 43, who would we bring back? Jesse, Carla, Cody. Oh, one more. Ellie, pre-merge. Was right before the merge. Was fighting with Gabler.
Maybe.
Again, they want some diversity though, so it's all white people, I guess.
Yeah. Carla's not.
Yeah, Carla's not. And, I mean, Jesse kind of is, kind of isn't.
Jesse's not.
Yeah, he's mixed, I guess, right? Then before 44, you got Omer, Lindsay.
42.
Maybe 42. Omer, Lindsay, a couple people, whoever. 41, Xander, maybe Deshaun, maybe Danny. Shan for sure. Maybe Ricard. Even though, I wasn't a fan, but he did a good job. But again, they'll bring back anybody. They want to check boxes with their returning players. So they'll bring people. There's been people who played 2 or 3 times, who you're like, they shouldn't even played once. One of the best jokes in the Survivor community is fan favorite Sierra Dawn Thomas. They had years ago. It was right around her time she played the first time. Her and Joe played the first time in that season. It was they had a Price is Right Survivor reality TV edition. So they had like Survivor, Amazing Race, and Big Brother players on the Price is Right.
Okay.
And they announced them, and they came out and said, "Here's the next contestant, blah blah," and they announced, "Here's fan favorite Sierra Dawn Thomas." I'm like, nobody even remembers her. What do you mean fan favorite? And then she came back on the season. She came back on the season called Game Changers. What did she change about the game? I don't know. Nothing. Right? They brought back Haley Ford. She had some good one-liners in her season, but was she a game changer? No. So they'll bring back anybody, and so it whatever. But there's some players from the season I would like to see back. But again, there's some players from other seasons I would love to see back too. I would thought if you would ask me right before 40, before COVID and they changed all the format and everything, if Rick Devens was gonna play again or Christian was gonna play again, I'd say without a doubt.
Yeah.
Now, maybe not.
Yeah.
But again, you get hurt by the more time there is between returning player seasons, the less likely you are to be called to come back. So, Angelina, I thought for sure she wanted to come back, no question about it. I know she was decently entertaining though. Even though I didn't like her.
Yeah.
So, last but not least, what's the last thing we have to talk about? What's next? So, obviously, for Survivor, going to 90-minute episodes in the fall. Who knows what we're going to cover? I don't know, anything like that. The one thing I do know is we're going to talk about how to fix Survivor. It's going to be called the Survivor Stink Tank versus Think Tank, or Think Tank versus Think Tank. Basically, we're going to talk about, here's some good ways to Survivor can do things differently, and here's an idea, and here's also why it sucks. And you can tell me why it sucks. But that's what's next for us. So the show itself, 45, that's going on. The cast has been pretty much spoiled already. Who's going to be on it, not necessarily who wins, but I'm sure that'll be spoiled soon too. But
Don't listen to those Vegas odds.
I know. Well, that's one other thing too. I hate, I think it's really awful to have betting on reality TV, especially not live reality TV. Some that's been filmed. Because that shit gets spoiled so much, and then people putting out money on it because people know who it is because they were spoiled on who won, so they're putting down money to make money on it, and then you know who's going to win because Vegas says Jam Jam has the best shot of winning. Well, he really doesn't. If you look at it, just from a player the person who knows the game, you would say he probably isn't in the best spot to win. But Vegas says he does because people are spoiled, so they're putting money on it.
I mean, we should have put money on it. Freaking.
If we were spoiled, yeah. If we were spoiled on it, yeah.
I mean, now next time I feel like I'm gonna trust what they say.
Yeah, well then you put money on it, then the odds will change.
Yes, I know.
So a lot of things Survivor can do differently. It said it wasn't my favorite season. It wasn't my favorite winner. It wasn't. I guess it wasn't aggressively bad like 41 was. Like 41 was like making me angry to watch it, and I was like rage watching it, and like hating every second of it. 44 wasn't that. It was a very average Survivor season. So I guess that's okay. But
I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's better than like actively hating it.
I mean, you're saying I don't actively hate it?
I mean, yeah, for different reasons though. You know what I'm saying, for different reasons. 41 was just like tell me it was preaching and it was just terrible. It was all about, BS and, just it was really not good. So at least this one was, some strategy, some, gameplay and whatever. And so that I can live with. So average season at best, lower end because the winner wasn't great, lower end because there was no major excitement. Even seasons aren't great, at least have some exciting moments. This didn't really even have that, so.
Right. Yeah. But
we'll have one more show, Jessica, here in a couple weeks or a month or so. We'll see when we do the Survivor, How to Save Survivor show, how to make it better. Because, again, the ratings were about 6 million this season per week, which is still a lot of eyeballs. It's still good, especially for but again, it's a cable show. Or it's not a cable show, it's a network show. So more people have network TV than cable and stuff like that. So the ratings should be good. I mean, if you look at like The Walking Dead in its prime, was that like 18 million a week. So this is a third of that. And then when Walking Dead ended, it was at like 2 million. So it's 3 times better than that. So Amazing Race gets between 4 and 6 million, and for not trying. So Amazing Race gets 4 to 6 million without any effort.
Right.
Survivor was at like 10 a few years ago, like when late in the 40s. Before the 40s, it was like at 10 million. And then it dropped down to 8, around, or actually, I guess the late 30s, dropped down to like 8. And then it was at like between 4 and 6 most of the year. Which, again, they'll still take it. It's still making money. And it's cheap to produce. They keep saving money on staying in Fiji, doing back-to-back shows, and shortening the time they're out there.
Right.
They still give away $1 million, which with inflation is like $75. So there's nothing. So it's good. I mean, there's no reason for them to cancel it. I mean, other than the fact that it's not what it used to be, it's not good anymore. You know, right? Other than the fact that it sucks, there's no reason to cancel it because it makes money. Yeah, I mean, so it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you. And especially they're expanding it, and they said they showed in the preview that they're probably bringing back the auction, which fans have been clamoring for a while. I don't know what they're gonna do with it because they kind of messed it up last time, but
they've just done that and not increased the effing time.
I mean, right? And people were saying that because like Winners at War, because you had the Edge of Extinction with all the players you liked, and then you had the actual gameplay going on. So like give us an extra half hour just to show the players at Edge of Extinction that we like, you know, the Ethans and the Yules and all them, and then we actually watched the actual show for an hour. And so people were clamoring for that then. I don't think people have been clamoring for it the last little while because it's.
What do they want to watch them do on the Edge of Extinction? Pick their nose?
Oh, I know.
Scoop water?
Yeah.
They're just freaking sitting there.
I know.
What I did. People watch stupid stuff. That's why.
Oh, I know.
People can sit there and watch other people play video games for hours. Like, do you not have anything else better to do with your time?
No. Life's too short, and they waste it. But I agree, and I think there's some stuff that I think is. I don't think they need to expand the time now because they barely fill it with stuff now. Yeah. I mean, they really do. They barely fill it with anything now.
Well, I hope the viewership drops because it's too long and people can't dedicate that amount of time to watch a TV show every week.
Yeah, I mean, I said Celebrity Apprentice did really well and had 2 hour episodes every week.
Yeah.
You know, so that did well.
It's also on a Friday night. Wasn't Apprentice on Fridays?
I don't think so. I think maybe it was Thursday. Maybe I don't remember. I don't remember. But it was also Mark Burnett, same producer as Survivor.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that was on. I usually didn't watch it like the day it was on. I usually watch it like later in the week. I would watch it later. But
the only time I watched it was with family. It was like a Friday night.
Maybe
so could have been a rerun of it or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was on. I think it was on like CNBC. Played it reruns later in the week, maybe.
Either way, Wednesday in the middle of the week, I don't have 3 hours to dedicate to watch TV.
You don't say. You don't say.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it. And that's what we want to do as far as covering next season, and we'll have one more show in the next little bit to go over and have some fun with that, and maybe have some ideas that'll fix the show. Other than cancel it.
I think canceling is the only thing at this point.
It's not gonna happen. It makes too much money. It can't. It's cheap to produce. It's getting cheaper by the moment, and they can give away $7 million a year, a season, and Seal gives away as much money as they do at the time.
She hasn't though.
She did this year.
Did she give away money this year? Who did it go to?
$100K to Carolyn, and then I think 10 to Carson, 10 to Lauren, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. It was 15, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly who got it, but I know the big one went to Carolyn for 100.
Yeah, that's good.
But again, they give away $7 million a season, and still make money hand over fist. So.
Whatever. Doesn't mean I have to watch it anymore.
And now they can fill it. They can fill a whole day on Wednesday with Amazing Race and Survivor. They can just 2 shows that are going to be cheap to produce. Amazing Race costs a little more because they're traveling around the world, but they're also doing a lot of chartered flights. They're doing more less camera crew, all that stuff. So that's even getting cheaper with modern technology. You just basically put a camera on somebody's head and then let them run through the race, and then you use that footage, steady cams. So all those things together make even Amazing Race a little cheaper to produce than it used to be. You're only giving away $1 million into that. Giving away $1 million into Survivor. They're super cheap. You fill up a whole day on Wednesday with whole primetime live with 2 shows that are cheap to produce and get decent ratings.
Yeah, decent. I could be watching a better show that's also on Wednesday nights.
You mean Masked Singer?
Live, yes.
Well, I would do that one and I would talk about it too, but Either way, that's it.
We're not talking about that. We're just talking about watching it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that and watch Survivor Amazing Race the next day or something. I don't know. Or that way we can do commercial free.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Either way, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything when we have a lot of fun stuff coming up soon too. We have some sports stuff coming up, maybe some news and other stuff that are in the works that we'll talk about here in the next little bit. So be sure to subscribe so you get all that stuff. A lot of fun to be had. Enjoy your summer. We can like our Facebook page, Pavement Road Prod on Facebook. Email pavement.production@gmail.com. Subscribe right there on the YouTube channel. Share the post, tell your friends, and we'll be back here in a little bit. Talk about some of the fun Survivor stuff that we'd like to see changed. Also, maybe some sports and some other content as well. Keep an eye out for it. We'll talk about it. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Anything else on for the final time on actual Survivor season, Jessica?
No.
Cool. So we'll be back soon with some more fun stuff for you. I think that's all right?
Yes.
Well, I got nothing else for you then either. Because the tribe has spoken.